Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about 3 steps that I have for you to create more consistency with your nutrition. And one of the biggest struggles that I see most people is they either go to extremes or they're like a pendulum swinging back and forth in between the two. And navigating the middle is a lot more difficult. Finding moderation is a lot more difficult, and just finding a nice balance is a lot more difficult than extremes. It's super easy to find a food list and be like, I'm only gonna eat these foods, and feel super structured and follow that plan, than it is to just navigate going to a barbecue, or navigate going out to eat, or navigate just if something gets thrown at you and the kid's sick, or you're not able to do exactly what you wanted to do, or maybe the food that you were planning for just it ends up going bad, or something along those lines. So it's finding that consistency, flexibility, and being adaptable. The first tip is planning ahead. And I know I said we're not going to talk about being rigid, but having a general concept of maybe what you're going to do if you go out to eat, what type of foods you're going to eat. But there's also this exposure therapy where you can expose yourself to things like, don't look at the menu ahead of time, and learn to be a little bit more flexible when you go out to eat. Or maybe it's being a little bit more flexible with the foods that you eat. Maybe you don't plan out your meals every single day, but you start to have a few rotational meals that you know are healthy. These are the ones that you enjoy eating, the ones that you feel like really great on, and the ones that you know that you have in your house that you can kind of fluctuate between different ones and be flexible with those. Planning ahead may be for meal prep for you in the beginning. It may be things like, or just simple convenience foods that you know around your house that are maybe healthy items that you feel that you can have and grab on hand when you're hungry. Or it's just maybe a set plan in your head, like, I know that when I go out to eat, I enjoy salmon, I enjoy the seafood, and I'm gonna allow myself to eat something a little bit more calorie dense when I go out to eat. Or maybe a plan in place is, I'm going to not eat something like that, and I'm going to just allow myself to have something that I enjoy, that's maybe chicken on a salad or something along those lines. Just having a plan in place and just being okay with that without being super structured is gonna help you with consistency. Knowing that maybe for lunch you have a few different options that you enjoy, and that you'll be able to go to those ones. The second step to consistency is always include your favorite fun foods and must-haves. This is your list of non-negotiable foods that you absolutely love, that keep you feeling satisfied throughout the day. Sometimes it's cream in your coffee, sometimes it's ketchup with your chicken. It doesn't really matter. Maybe it's a few cookies at night. So it's these things that you have daily that you need in your diet to just keep you going. So it's small things. It's maybe a couple hundred calories with overall throughout the day. It's the 20% and the 80%, 20% moderation. It's things like I said, I know in the past that I would cut out cream in my coffee, I'd cut out sugar, but for me now, maybe I prefer cream in my coffee and I have a stevia. Fun foods and your must-haves don't always have to be something sweet or savory. It may just be bacon, or it may be something that maybe is a little bit more calorie dense that you feel like is just something that keeps you feeling great on while eating, no matter what your goals are. Here's the thing, I've done the restrict, I've done the eating clean, I've done the competitor diet, and those things never worked for me because I just didn't allow some of the foods that left me feeling satisfied, left me feeling like I enjoyed eating, that I actually looked forward to my food, because I just felt like I was so deprived and restricted, and then I felt like I would end up binging on the weekend. So it's much better to have maybe a couple hundred calories worth, and this isn't a set number, so it could be 500 calories, it could be 100 calories, it could be 50 calories for you. It's not a set number, and that's the whole point, is not to be so rigid. So if this helps you along the way, it's a lot better to have 3 cookies a day than to restrict all week and then have a complete binge fest on the weekends where you feel like you're going overboard, you can't control yourself because you don't have it all week. My third tip for you is do things that make you feel good. So create your own guidelines without being super strict, without being so rigid. And some of the guidelines may be like, I eat before I go to bed. It's the complete opposite of what is told by us by all the media. Or maybe it's like, I have carbs at night, or I have a small dinner instead of a large one, or maybe my breakfast is really small but my lunch is big because that's something I enjoy. So creating your own guidelines and rules for yourself that don't make you feel deprived, that don't make you feel like you're never going to be able to do this and you can only last for maybe a month on it. It's stuff that you can do for the rest of your life. For me, I enjoy eating right before I go to bed. I enjoy eating something after dinner. I have a wicked sweet tooth. I love to have something sweet after dinner. And for me, maybe it's as simple as like a few rice cakes with some butter and some chocolate on it. Or maybe it's, for me, it's a few cookies, which is totally fine too. Or maybe it's popcorn at night. It's setting a set of guidelines for what works for you. So maybe it's knowing that you enjoy something really heavy in the morning, so you enjoy a big breakfast, and knowing that works for you. Or maybe it's a simple guideline as like, when I go to lunch, I always feel best when I get a salad and I get some sort of bread on the side. Or maybe it's a mix of, I know that I need proteins in my diet, I know I feel really good after eating protein, so I'm gonna fill most of my plate with protein, veggies, and some starchy carbs. You need to figure out what works for you. What works for me is not going to be working for you, because you're not going to be able to maintain that. You're not going to be able to stick to it, and you're going to feel like there's something missing. You're going to feel like this is being told to you and dictated to you, and you're going to feel like there's something just lacking in your diet that you're just not satisfied with. And you don't need to be so strict with these. It's about being flexible. If you know you want protein and there's no protein at the party, so you just make your best choice, then that's what has to be. It's just learning, as I said, learning to be a little bit more flexible and just going with the flow. So these 3 tips for consistency were planning ahead, making sure you're including fun foods and foods that make you feel satisfied. And the third one is creating your own guidelines and rules and not being so structured with them. Just typical things that you enjoy to do on a daily basis. Hopefully these were helpful for you. Make sure to leave something in the comments. If you have your favorite fun foods that you make sure that you include every day, I'd love to hear about it. And as always, you can follow me on Instagram at Kimberly Rose Platt, and I look forward to talking to you next time.